We're live. Good evening. What's up, Paul? Thank you
What's
so
up,
much for
bro?
joining. Good.
Good
What's
evening.
up? Look, you look like you just woke up. Is that what's
That's
happening
very
right now?
true. That's very true, bro. Damn it! I wore the shirt and it's not seen. I'm a show it. It's my MyPW
Show it off.
redemption
Show it.
shirt,
Might be
bro.
no redemption.
Hell yeah.
There you
Hell yeah.
go. But yeah.
But yeah,
How's it
dude.
been?
How's
How's your
how's your
weekend so far,
Saturday?
Ken?
Oh, sorry. I'll answer your question. Yeah, dude. I
Oh.
just woke up. Prior to this, I had zero sleep. I went into work with zero sleep. I don't know with myself, but right now I think
Mm,
I got a good 3 hours in, as you can tell from my voice. But that's about it,
mm.
bro. Probably get 12 more after the show. How about you?
You need to get more. And before we get into like other topics that we're talking about, I just like to welcome everyone right now, and they are watching hashtag PWG Live. This is an Instagram live show of two Philippine wrestlers who have nothing to do, nothing better to do right now because we're still under quarantine in the world, the longest quarantine ever. And yeah, like we're just having on different personalities to talk on our show, and we are on episode 30 right now, and we'll be having Shaukat in a bit. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight. But yeah, you should probably get some more sleep, Ken. That is always something that I have told you and keep telling you. And of course, I think a lot of people keep telling you that also. But, things happen the way they happen. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Trev B203, for coming on also.
Yes, sir. I mean, I'll do my best. I don't, I don't know with I sound so freaking just out of it, bro. But yeah,
Mm.
dude. The struggle was real earlier. 10 minutes in my shift earlier this morning, I was like, "Don't fall asleep. Don't fall." I think I fell asleep for 10 minutes.
Mm.
I'm just glad nothing
Yeah.
was important happening or something like that. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Not
you
the
got
best
to
thing to
take a
do.
rest where you can. What, sorry?
Not the best thing to do, bro.
Yeah. You got to take a rest where you can, especially now since everything's very hectic. Everything feels so, everything feels so stressful. So yeah, like probably not sleep and work, but maybe take as much time as you can to sleep at night, Ken.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. My mind is at freaking US time. I don't know. I don't know why. My
Oh, yeah.
soul is
Well,
like living in America. Like, what the heck's happening to you?
also
So,
because a lot of
anyway,
your guests are from the
Enough
US.
about me, brother. How
Mm.
how about you? Like, I like your strategy today because you posted your match against our very special guest for tonight, 3 hours
Of
prior
course.
to the guesting. So that's an interesting approach.
Well, yeah, because it's no secret that Shaukat and I have faced each other in the past at PWR, and I just really wanted to remind people of that. It's actually almost been a year since that matchup happened, so that was like around July 20 something, and then now we're almost to that time, so it's been a year long, and I just really wanted to talk with Shaukat. There's a lot happening right now in the Malaysian pro wrestling scene. Their government has just like recognized it as a sport, and of course, he's going to be on Reality of Wrestling. Speaking of, the main man has joined us. And yeah, Ken, thank you so much for joining us. And then we'll be coming on with him like in a minute. Thank you for helping moderate tonight. And I think I should have Shaukat on right now so we can make the most of our time.
See you guys. Enjoy.
All right, thanks, brother. Hey, Shaukat, how's it been, man?
I'm doing good. Honestly, I mean, like watching you guys
All
talk.
right, so before we,
I miss you guys so much.
yeah, I miss you too, man. And before we start off, I just wanted to introduce you to people watching right now. He is the founder and head coach of MyPW. He is a film actor, director, and stuntman. And also, he is called the Godfather of Malaysian wrestling. Please welcome to hashtag PWG Live, Shaukat. How you been?
I'm doing good, man. I've been trying to be as productive as I can during the whole lockdown situation, and now that in
Yeah.
Malaysia we're gonna move out of lockdown, it's time to
Okay.
push even harder.
Yeah, that's good. Like, so I've seen you've been staying productive. You've been doing a lot of stuff online, but you also been for the first part of the lockdown when it was happening. You were doing the home workout videos, and then you also went into the hypertrophy. So I was just wondering, like, how is Malaysia doing in terms of like trying to sort of control the coronavirus situation? Are you guys doing okay? I'm pretty sure you're doing better than we are, but I just wanted to know.
Sorry to hear about your situation, by the way. But in Malaysia we're doing pretty well. Like currently, as of now, the active cases is single numbers, and I think like maybe in about
Oh,
3 to 4 weeks we'll be able to flatten the curve.
that's cool. That's cool, and yeah, I'm happy for you guys, and I'm congratulations on you're gonna step out of lockdown soon, and I hope that also means that there's gonna be like more wrestling training soon, and of course wrestling shows down the line. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about the wrestling first, and we'll get to your stuff in a bit because there's a lot going on in Malaysian wrestling. But you are known as the godfather of Malaysian wrestling, and basically started the scene from scratch after winning a lunch with Booker T and buying a syllabus from Dr. Tom Pritchard. So how was it in the early days of Malaysian pro wrestling? I just wanted to know that, and like if you can tell us a little bit about your start.
Of course, like when before I started Malaysia Pro Wrestling, I think one of the biggest doubt that I have in my mind was like, should I actually start it? Because there's no such thing as a pro wrestling industry back then, and I didn't know how it would work out for me because everyone here in Malaysia, I think, is the same as the Philippines. Like everyone mostly enjoy watching WWE, but every time when we
Yeah.
try to do something on our own, we will always be looked at as an imitation of WWE, unfortunately. So
Yes.
that was when I won a lunch with Booker T, and it was a table full of people. I think there was about 12 of us with just Booker T, but I had
Mhm.
the chance to sit right next to him. So I asked him like, I really want to be a pro wrestler. So can you advise me what should I do? Because I really want to start my own school, but I don't think that I'm there yet to do it. And he was like, dude, I don't care how many years you have under you. I don't care if you're a vet or not. But if you don't start the promotion, nobody will,
Mhm.
and there won't be any industry. So just take the first leap. And that was when I decided, like, you know what, Booker T just gave me the thumbs up, so let's just do it.
Yeah, and like that's amazing because it basically just started out as a conversation with Booker T, and then you started off with I think you mentioned there was like four of you, three, like you were training four people under you, and one of them was Em and the Kid. So
Yep.
how was like the first part? How was like the first few years of pro wrestling training with MyPW back then?
It was crazy. I mean, the first year, honestly, like we didn't know what we were doing. Like I was just going on based off basics that I've learned from a bunch of people in a bunch of places. So we were just trying to train and trying to become pro wrestlers, but we ended up being like a bunch of backyard guys just trying to
Yeah.
trying to do our stuff and everything. And that was when I decided, like, you know what, guys, we're not gonna move forward if we keep on doing this. And that was when I approached Dr. Tom Pritchard, and he was like, you know what, dude, this is my syllabus. Take it, train your guys together with this, and then you can always send videos for feedback, so on and so forth. And that
Mm.
was when we figured out, like, dude, we have been doing everything wrong. It's like we used to
Yeah.
like we used to do things that if we watch back now we would cringe like crazy. And
Mm.
with the syllabus we improved in just 3 months from looking like backyard guys playing.
I'm sorry. You okay?
Yeah, I'm
All
good.
right. Thank you for. Sorry, I didn't catch the last part because like your video kind of cut off. But like,
Awesome.
yeah, like I think you. No, it's okay. I think we get. We'll be okay with that. But I just wanted to also talk about like, yeah, like when you start off and starting shit off on your own, you probably don't know what you're doing, and it wasn't really until like we came into training with guys like Billy Swade that we understood what was happening already or like understood it better. And it's cool that you actually got to message Dr. Tom Pritchard and get a syllabus from him. And then look at where you guys are now. You're, as you mentioned, drawing 300 to 500 people easily, and that's amazing. But I just wanted to talk about this thing real quick that you mentioned in your podcast with Kurt Johansson
Uh-huh.
that your first match was actually at a birthday party. Is that true?
That is actually true. It was the first time we built a ring, and our very first show was a birthday party, and it was a kid turning 8 at that point, so he wanted a birthday team party, and he was from a rich family and everything. So we put the ring there, and I had matches with it was Raza back then. And it was crazy because
Yeah.
nobody cared what we did. Like the adults were not paying attention; they were laughing at us, but the kids were enjoying it. But who cares? I mean, like, come on! I mean, that was the first step towards being a pro wrestler.
Yeah, and it's cool that you guys were actually able to build a ring for that because I also like just I'm not sure if a lot of people know this because I also had a match at a birthday party, and both times like I had a match at a birthday party twice, and both times we did not have a ring, so we just we had to brawl around whatever wherever we were, and then the kids were really into it and everything. But yeah, it's like you can see that the kids are really more into it than the parents. But yeah, it's cool that we kind of share that same experience together. But moving on, as I mentioned, you were able to grow Malaysia Pro Wrestling to what it is now, which is an event that easily draws 300 to 500 people before this pandemic. So, what were some of the biggest challenges you had as a leader of this wrestling scene? Like, did you have was it always trying to make people into believers or like supporting your product? Like, what were the main challenges like growing that scene?
I think one of the early challenges that we had was, like you said, like you mentioned previously, we only had four guys training for about a year. It was myself, Raza, the kid, Furious Faisal, and JTJ. And it was crazy because to have only four people training, and then I charged them like very, very, very little, and I
Yeah.
couldn't even cover the running costs to the point where I had to work seven jobs just so I could,
Damn.
like pay the rent and everything. And it was crazy, and we were training in a Muay Thai ring, so every bump
Mhm.
hurts like crazy. It was super stiff,
Yeah.
but I think another challenge that all of us face in Southeast Asia is that trying to convert fans into believers because like I mentioned previously, when wrestling fans watch our stuff, they always see us as an imitation to WWE, and we always get
Mhm.
stuff like, dude, please don't try to wrestle. Like leave it to the professionals. Da 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 da. Da. You guys look nothing like those guys in the WWE. Da 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 da. But once you get to convert them into fans, especially ones who would always come back to watch, it is such a satisfying feeling because you know what? It means that you're doing something right.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, up till now, we still get a lot of those comments, especially on YouTube, because people who don't really watch our shows are like it's a lot of the WWE comments, and that's great. But once we were able to convert those people, that's where the real magic happens. And then we always tell people that just come watch a show. If you think it's like a WWE light version, then that's your loss. But like we always want to have people enjoy. All right,
Yep.
we'll go into some fan shout outs and questions right now. So at Trev B203 says he loved the match between you and me. So that was almost a year ago.
Thank you.
We have some shout outs from Achieve the Zen at Achieve the Zen. Hi JDL and hi Coach.
Hello.
And then we also have at PW the Good Doctor saying Aya's chess game too strong. And of course, you gotta show off the guns, man. You gotta show off the guns. All right. We got a fan question here.
Uh-huh.
We got a fan question here from at D Ken Warren. Well, it's Ken Warren. He's actually like helping me moderate right now.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of congratulations first, brother. He's asking Diet Talks, any secret recipe that you can share whenever you mix it up cooking those chicken breasts? Do you have any secret chicken breast recipe that you have right now that you can share with us?
All right. I think one of the main things that I learned from cooking healthy is that in order to sustain your diet, you need to be able to cook well, so it tastes good, and you don't end up giving up. So what I would usually do is I would always marinate my chicken breast in brine because it makes it juicier. Once you cook it, it retains the
Right.
juice. And when it
Mm.
comes to marinating, I always try to marinate for at least an hour. A little bit of coconut oil with whatever spice I have, like a full rack of spice from rosemary to
Mm.
Cajun to chili powder and everything. So just mix it up as much as you want
Mm.
because there's no
Yeah.
calories in those. And before you put it in the oven, just put a little bit of just glaze a little bit of oil on top of it, so the skin
Oh,
comes
yeah.
out crispy, but the inside remains juicy. So just try it out.
Oh, cool, cool. Thank you. I will definitely take note of that, and I hope you're listening in, Ken. All right, let's go back to some wrestling again.
Uh-huh.
So, as you mentioned, the challenges you had, like doing 7 jobs at a time just to pay the rent and stuff. So those challenges have definitely reaped its rewards, as it's recently announced that the Malaysian government now recognizes pro wrestling as a sport. So,
Mhm.
can you tell us what that means for the Malaysian pro wrestling scene? Because like we know all about like pro wrestling being sports entertainment, but now since a government recognizes that as
Mhm.
a sport, what does that mean for you guys?
All right. So the first time I had the idea of trying to get pro wrestling recognized as a sport is that when I found out
Yeah.
in the United States, Canada, and Japan, pro wrestling is actually not a sport. So I started going onto websites and downloading and reading all of the constitutions of things from the associations and the Athletic Commission, because I needed to prove to the Malaysian government why we
Mm.
are also considered a sport besides entertainment. And I think the perks of being a sports in Malaysia is that number one, you can offer tax relief to sponsors, corporate sponsors.
Okay.
So this
Yeah.
will make them happy to invest a lot of money in you because they don't want to pay tax.
Mm.
And another perks that you'll get is being a Malaysian athlete, you'll be able to use all of the facilities. Like I think you guys seen the photos of the gym
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
I took a photo of. That was actually a gym built for specifically for Malaysian athletes. Besides that, they also have
Okay.
a full-fledged rehab center with high world-class state-of-the-art sports performance facilities and so on and so forth. Like they even have a cryo chamber when you walk in,
Oh wow.
and they blast you with ice cold air. In 3 minutes, you'll come out fresh from
Mm.
any soreness or whatsoever. So it's the future is here for Malaysian pro wrestlers.
Yeah. Yeah. Like. Okay, so that's why you mentioned it was for Malaysian pro wrestling. Like, damn, can I change my can I change my country of residence? But that is cool. That is okay. Definitely see now like the perks about it, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing that with us. But you also mentioned that it's going to be there's also going to be an upcoming like wrestling games. So like competitive pro wrestling.
Uh-huh.
Can you describe us a little? Can you describe to us what competitive pro wrestling means?
All
Because
right.
like we know we pull the curtain back, but like the competitive aspect, I really just want to understand that also.
All right. So basically, besides you guys, ever since I announced that, almost on a daily basis, I would get questions from wrestlers from all around the world, especially because I extended the offer to wrestlers worldwide to
Mm,
join the wrestling games. So
yeah.
for as of now, I'm not able to share yet what competitive wrestling
Mm,
is because I like to keep you guys
okay.
guessing, and I'll probably leave some hints here and there to tease you guys a lot more. But
Mm,
just the gist of it is this is a little bit more hint exclusive as well because I haven't shared this before. But this competitive wrestling thingy is being framed by not just myself, but as well
mm,
as three legends from the pro wrestling industry, in which
okay.
I can't name who they are yet, but they are the ones who
Mm,
will be designing this entire wrestling games. And I'm pretty sure
mm.
you guys will be surprised when you find out who these guys are. And they will be at the games itself, and they will be your judges and jury. So time to brush up on those wrestling skills.
Well, yeah, definitely. And for it's open to like wrestlers around the globe. You're saying?
Yep, that's true.
All right, and yeah, that is an interesting concept. This is the first time I've heard of like there's going to be three legendary wrestlers. So that it's a little bit of an exclusive. It's a little bit of a PWG live exclusive. So I don't know if you talked about it last night with the guys in Kayfabe Cafe, but yeah, yo, this is me throwing in the hat for me and my tag amigo Ken Warren. If ever you guys need the Filipino contingent, let us know. But yeah, that is really exciting. That is an amazing piece of news, and congratulations again to Malaysia Pro Wrestling for putting this on and also getting recognized by your Malaysian government.
Thank you.
But I have to talk about also that it's not the Malaysian pro wrestling scene that's growing and making waves, but you're also doing that. So we're circling back to how you mentioned about Booker T, and as you announced in the Game Changers forum with Grapple Max, that you were going to make your American debut on Booker T's Reality of Wrestling promotion. So it's a sort of a full circle moment with the person that nudged you to start the Malaysian pro wrestling scene. Can you tell us about how this all happened? How they were able to scout you, how they were able to book you and everything?
All right. So, like you mentioned, I think it's a beautiful story. It's a full circle coming together. During the whole lockdown situation, the only way I can be productive is to stay in shape and to produce content, so on and so forth. But one thing that all of us performers or talents or wrestlers can do is that we can upgrade our knowledge when it comes to pro wrestling because a lot of us focus too much on the mechanical aspect of pro wrestling, and the
Yeah.
mechanical aspect being the spots and the moves and the techniques and so on and so forth. But when it comes to the performative aspect of pro wrestling, we need to dive in a lot deeper and pick on the brains of legends, so on and so forth. So during the entire lockdown situation, I had been blessed to have the opportunity to train to be coached by guys like Sin Bodhi, El Snow, who were on
Yeah.
your who
Mm.
were on the show, and
Yeah.
Tom Pritchard as well as Booker T. So there was a
Mm.
point where Booker T was watching my match. He wants to see the way I work. So that was actually his first time watching me work as a pro wrestler, and it was my match with Harry Ray at MyPW Evo. And when he
Yeah.
watched the match, he kept asking me questions in regards to the performative aspect of pro wrestling, and I kept answering, and he kept on the serious look and everything. And once the match was done, I was scared shitless. I didn't know what he was gonna say, but then
Yeah.
he was like, "Man, watching your match is like eye candy," and I was like, "What?" Oh, what do you think?
Mm.
Can you repeat that again, sir? And he went on saying that the way I work in a match is like a 20-year vet, and he have seen guys who have been in the industry for over 15 years, and they have nothing on the way I work. So coming from someone like Booker T, two-time WWE Hall of
Yeah.
Famer, and a respected individual in the pro wrestling
Mm.
scene, I broke down in tears. I cried. I remember after the whole Zoom meeting, I woke up my wife and I cried and I hugged her because I feel
Oh.
vindicated. I feel like to hear that coming from someone pretty much means that I've been doing things right. But
Mm.
so after he watched the match, and that was when he offered me immediately, and he said like, "Dude, you know what? I think there's a spot for you in reality of wrestling. Do you want to work with us?" And I was like, "Heck yeah! Like, why would I want to work with you guys?" And I found out that reality of wrestling is on national TV as well in the United States.
Yeah.
So it's crazy for me to be called by Booker T to wrestle in this promotion
Mm.
and to make my US TV debut. It's crazy. I'm blessed.
Yeah, that's amazing news, and also goes to show how much like if you put in the work, good things will happen. But when is the show happening? Can you like tell us a little bit more details on when it's happening?
Sure. So they are interested to bring me there as soon as possible. They're super excited. The
Yeah.
only problem is that there's a travel ban of people from Asia flying into the States right now. So right now it's all about waiting for the whole pandemic situation to blow off, to wait for the flight ban to be lifted, and once all of those is settled and done, they'll bring me in, and we'll start doing the tapings.
Yeah, that's and again, congratulations to you. And obviously, you're all like as fatty as our brother So Dick here mentioned, you are one of the pinnacles of pro wrestling here in Southeast Asia. And I
Thank
am
you.
just so happy for you that you're able to be able to fly over there once this whole pandemic thing is over. Once the whole coronavirus to the states, show them what Southeast Asian pro wrestling, see what you're made of. Because like I have to mention that like he Booker T is right. Like when I watch your matches, I always watch it for the story because your character is one that like just breeds, you're gonna fuck someone up, but like not in a way that it's a lot of power moves and everything. But the story is that you are, as you say, the prophet of pain, and it's always been like that. And I always love watching your matches that way. And yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
it's high time, man. It's high time, and I'm
Thank you
I'm
so
I'm
much.
very happy for you. All right. So before we head back into wrestling, let me just see if like there are other questions here right now. There's one question from Aziz Kevin Z.
Hmm.
Can we draw the difference or similarities between PWR and Malaysia Pro Wrestling starting out, as well as how much both promotions have grown today? Well, I can honestly say that we kind of started out the same way. We didn't know what the shit we didn't
That's
know
true.
what shit we were doing. Just flying by also. But yeah, once we started to understand it, once we started to be able to hone our craft, that's when the people started coming. Is that the same for how my PW was?
Exactly the same.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we got that one. But before we head back into wrestling, and congratulations again for those two big pieces of news. I just really wanted to touch on other parts of your life, which is being a film actor, director, and stuntman.
Mhm.
So, how did you get your start in the film industry as a stuntman, if I may ask?
All right. I think I mainly owe it to loving wrestling because like there's no wrestling in Malaysia. So what's next best thing
Yeah.
that I can do? That was when I ventured into martial arts. I did martial arts when I was growing up: karate, taekwondo, aikido. Silat. And then I also did Muay Thai where I fought professionally. I have a record of professional record in Malaysia of 28 fights,
Mm.
24 wins and 4 losses. Out of the 28 fights, it was
Mm.
20 knockouts. I won by 20 knockouts. And, I also have a professional MMA record of 4 fights with 3 wins and 1 loss. So that's the next best thing that you can get next to wrestling is
Maintenance.
combat, actual combat. But
Yeah.
that was when I was discovered by people on set because I was doing filming as well. I'd always been acting. I've been acting in
Mm.
Malaysia since I was 7 years old in various
Oh
dramas and
wow.
films and stuff. So I think it kind of helped with my wrestling as well because the expressions and the
Mm.
emotions that I can bring to my character and so on and so forth. So when I was on set one day, a stunt guy got injured and they needed someone to replace him, and I volunteered because I have martial arts experience. So
Mm.
I did it with them, and they were impressed. And ever since, I've been a stuntman. And then moving
Mm.
forward, I've always believed that in life we always have to progress. So from stuntman, I
Mm.
worked my way up to becoming a stunt coordinator and a stunt director.
Mm.
And from there, I moved up to being a director myself. And
Mm.
it's all about moving forward, progressing upwards.
Mm. All right. Well, yes, and that is again a great testament for how you have also grown in pro wrestling from stuntman, stunt director, a stunt coordinator, and now you've directed stuff also. If you can like tell people like one thing that they can watch of yours, like a project of yours that you're very proud of, what would that be? Or like I hope we can catch it also.
I think one of my proudest project is Strike Back season 7. It's actually it's a UK series, and in that
Oh yeah.
series you'll see me in almost every episode because I was doing stunts for the film, and I was also I coordinated 2 episodes for the film
Mm.
for that series, and they have guys who are worldwide known actors and so on and so forth. And I think it's my biggest project. They were shooting in Malaysia and they needed stunt guys, so they chose me, and
Mm.
I'm blessed to be a part of the project. So it's Strike Back season 7.
That's cool. All right. I hope. Well, we'll try to find it if we can over here in the Philippines. But yeah, guys, Strike Back season 7. All right. Thank you for sharing that so much. And moving on. So actually, I wanted to ask this also because our film industry, like in the Philippines, has been like really locked down because of the coronavirus. So how is the film industry in Malaysia doing?
We are starting to get back up again to a point where I've been called to action direct and coordinate stunts for 3 films next month. So everything is suddenly back. Like everyone wants to work again. So I think it's a good thing for me as well because to balance 3 films in 1 month is crazy. But I'm blessed to still be called and being a respected individual in the film industry.
Yeah, that's cool. And actually, we have a question from Ken Warren again.
Uh-huh.
Is there any dream film project you would wish to produce? Would it be wrestling related? Of course, he has to ask that.
I would say yes. I mean, like I've always planned to do something like Lucha Underground. I want to do a cinematic wrestling series. I've been pitching it around, but so far it's very difficult to get the trust of execs when it comes to pro wrestling. But I'm pretty sure like one day down the road I'll be able to produce it. No worries.
All right, cool. And we'll be waiting for that. Hopefully, some of the producers over there in Malaysia like bite, and then we would love to see like a pro wrestling related TV show here in Southeast Asia. We don't really get that much,
You
but
guys will
hopefully that
definitely be a
happens.
part of it as well.
Thank you, thank you. So again, thank you for sharing that. So with pro wrestling and film being like, well, you're gonna come back in a little bit, but it's still being sort of a standstill right now.
Huh?
During it's still kind of like a standstill with coronavirus right now, and you again adapted and evolved, making your own meal prep business with hypertrophy, and I
Yep.
believe you also do some online coaching as well. So
Yep.
can you give us like this is also a question from Ken Warren that I had to ask. So they have to ask. So can you talk to us about the inspiration of your discipline and change in physique? Like, obviously you have the diet down, you have the workout down, but like, what is your inspiration in terms of like keeping that physique and working on that physique?
I do believe like a whole big chunk of my motivation and inspiration right now is mainly the fact that I cannot wait for my debut in reality of wrestling. And for me to make
Mm,
my first impression in United States, especially on national TV, I have to make sure that I'm in my
Mm.
best shape possible and to make sure that I represent the region looking good. So that's my main inspiration and motivation. Like every single day when I feel like binge eating, I'll be like, dude, stop. Just eat what you have to because you're gonna go to
Yeah.
the states. Millions of people are gonna watch you on TV, and you want to make sure that you look good because you want to be a good represent for the region.
Yeah, exactly. And I just wanted to ask also, like, can you also give us some diet and exercise tips to do at home? Because we're still pretty much in quarantine for a bit of a long time. Can you give like your best like tips for diet and exercising at home?
Okay, cool. So I think one of the most important thing that a lot of people need to understand is that as long as you are progressing, no matter what, when it comes to strength or when it comes to stamina or things, that is when your body will keep on progressing as well. So during the whole
Mhm.
lockdown time, after I did the 21-day workout series, I actually just maintained my physique using resistant bands, and it actually got me like super ripped at that point because
Mm.
I was working out on a daily basis. I was working out each body part twice a week, and my nutrition I would always make sure that I don't go over my caloric restrictions. And I think it's all about being and staying disciplined and making sure that you eat what you have to eat. You eat what you need. You don't binge over that, and to progress while working out. Like I've honestly thought about making a series of working out at home using resistant bands and how I maintain my shape and how I got ripped during the lockdown.
Mhm. Yeah. All right, cool. Hope we'll see if you do make that. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna watch it because resistant bands and my own body weight is are what I have at home right now, and hopefully, because I've always thought of you as one of the quote unquote body guys in Southeast Asian wrestling, and speaking of the Southeast Asian, like I'm just being honest. Sorry, like my internet is acting up. I'm not sure what was the last thing that you heard from when I lost my audio. Can you
I
remind me?
think I think it was the question that someone was asking about something wrestling how
Ah,
I
right.
overcame something.
All right, let me just pull that back up. All right, so this is from a fan of ours, Triple F. He's asking, "Hi JBL and hi Shaukat. May I ask Shaukat if he ever felt like a fish out of water at one point in his pro wrestling career, and how did he overcome it? So, like, have you ever felt like, I don't know, maybe you didn't belong there, or maybe you shouldn't be doing this? Can you tell us, like, if that ever has happened to you?"
I do believe honestly like every single one of us will come to a point where we feel like we're fish out of the water. Um, it came to a point once I think during the whole rise of sea pro wrestling, where
Mm,
everyone was in love with Japanese wrestling, and everyone
yeah.
was in love with indie pro wrestling, and because of that,
Mm,
everyone was doing all this very fast, high paced, acrobatic flying stuff, in which I knew I couldn't do mainly because of my knee injury. I need to work very safely. I need to work very in a very reserved manner because I've tried doing springboard once, and my knee popped on air, and it was crazy. And
mm,
these are things that make me feel like you know what, like I'm not gonna be able to be like AJ Styles. I'm not gonna be able to do things like
mm,
Ricochet or Will Ospreay or so on and so forth. So I need to work
mm,
smart and I need to find out a way on how I can stay relevant. So what I did was I use what is best and what I'm best at, which is striking. Because being someone
mm,
from martial arts background, my strikings
mm.
are, I'd say it's pretty good.
Yeah.
um, Everyone thinks like I have the most brutal strikes in C, and I'm very proud of that. So I capitalized on that. I focused on
Mm,
striking, and the next thing that I focused on was storytelling. That is
mm,
what I believe made me fall in love with wrestling again, is focusing a lot on the performative aspect and telling beautiful stories in the ring like I did with JDL, the
mm.
whole
Yeah.
thing with Bull, and even the whole 5-on-5 match. I think
Yeah.
I was able to tell a beautiful story with the whole arc thing. So yeah, I mean like I overcame it by finding out what I can do best. How do I overcome it and how do I stay relevant? And I think
Mm,
this applies to anyone in any situation, even out of pro wrestling. You always have to
mm,
find a way to figure out how to overcome the odds and how to become yourself, but at the same time stay
mm.
relevant.
Exactly, and that is some great advice also because you don't. I know like there's a lot of people out there who probably like are following a trend or like following something like for example as you mentioned the flippy stuff. But if you can't follow that trend, you need to find something that you know and do well and makes you different so that you stand out. And yes, I do agree with the fact that your strikes in Southeast Asian wrestling looked the best. There was that whole montage from your Grapple Max match with I think it was Val. Yeah, I think it was Val. Like you were just beating him up. And you also mentioned our match like it were almost a year removed, and I still to this day like it was one of my most fun matches I've ever been in because like I have to say like I'm part of the crew that wants to be like Flippy and wants to be athletic, but also it was fun to like tell a story and just like do a slugfest with you in that match. So again, thank you very much for that match. Also, do you
It's
have
my
any
pleasure.
like do you have any fond memories about that match that you want to share?
Um, I love the entire match to be honest. Like I believe that the crowd was they were tired, and the whole point I was thinking like how do we get them back up again, and that was when I kept playing things in my head throughout the match, and I think we spoke a lot during the match just to keep their
Mm.
attention, and I think it was amazing because what I love most about wrestling is the fact that we are able to do things and just call things out to make people be emotionally invested to a point where I believe that people felt you were in danger, and
Mm.
some even told me personally that they felt scared for you because they didn't want to see you die, and because of that, like most of them were like fully focused on a match because they were like, "Shit, am I seeing a live execution here?" It was that effective, and that's what I love the most about it. But I think there's a fun fact that I want to share with you guys. I think a lot of people don't know about this, but I think it's fun. During the 5-on-5 match, you remember when I called the cannonball for you to give me in the corner, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
when I called for the cannonball, yeah, I think it was my fault because usually I would put my chest out and I would tuck my head to the
yeah,
side,
yeah,
but this time
yeah.
I gave my head on. So when the cannonball landed,
Oh,
my jaw actually went out of its socket, and it just stayed stuck wide open. So if you guys watch the match again, you'll see me crawling down trying to close
oh
my jaw
man,
back. And
I didn't know
Sirigala
that.
actually. No, sorry, it's not your fault. Things like this happen all the time in pro wrestling. It's the part and parcel of being a pro wrestler, and it's fun to me at least because we always try to figure out ways on how to how to make things work. So
Yeah, yeah.
Sirigala noticed this, and because one of the things that I teach my students that if you see someone looking downwards, pretty much means that he's trying to get to recover. So
Mm.
Sirigala noticed this, and he stalled by. I think he took some time with you and with Markian, and I was finally able to adjust again. And then he looked
Mm.
at me. There's an eye contact, and then the match continued on. And this
Mm.
is what I think I love about wrestling, and people don't really realize is that
Mm.
there's always risk, and people think it's easy. People think it's these guys just entertainers, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
But this is the beautiful part of wrestling. I mean, like all of us, like me, you, we honestly enjoy doing this thing despite hurting ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that is an amazing story. And again, I'm sorry that your jaw got dislocated. I'm glad that you're okay. But
No, it's
shout out, shout out also to Serigala who noticed and then made sure that you were okay before we moved on. That is an amazing story to share. Yeah, thank you very much for that. And again, we're going into like another fan question right now. We just someone has just asked that at underscore Ron WWE, what is your favorite wrestling match of all time that you had remembered, like in forever in your life?
oh, damn. This is a very difficult question because it's a very difficult question because to choose just one is crazy because there's like thousands
Right,
of matches. But
right.
I would say that I cannot choose one, just one.
Mm,
But I love the matches that makes me remember the feeling I felt during the match. Like for
mm,
example, when The Undertaker retired Shawn Michaels, and
mm,
that made me feel like I was so emotionally engaged with the match
mm,
that I still remember the feelings I felt during the match. And
mm.
when you know the whole part where Ric Flair goes like get up, kick me one more time, and Shawn
Again, Shawn
Michaels
Michaels. Yeah.
like I love you, bomb. And, you
Yeah.
see all the grown men having like red eyes and teary and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I remember the feeling clearly, like how I felt during that moment. So these are the things I love in wrestling, like the feelings I feel when I watch a match.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for sharing that. And well, let's get back into more wrestling actually, because like as you mentioned earlier that you've been around the Southeast Asian wrestling scene. You've been in the Philippines. You've been in Singapore. So I just wanted to ask you, like, speaking about the Southeast Asian pro wrestling scene, do you have any favorite matches of yours from around it, from around like wrestling anywhere? Like, it can be from Malaysia, it can be from the Philippines. Like, I just wanted to ask like what your favorite match in the Asian wrestling scene of yours has been so far.
I think just for the fact that this was the match that got me noticed by the guys in the state, because besides Booker T, I had Sin Bodhi as well, who was impressed with the match, and he said that it was one of the best ED matches he watched. He said like the way I worked the match was very mature, and it shows that I know my stuff. And then Booker T went on saying it's eye candy, it's da 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 da. So just because of that, I think it's my match with Harry Ray at Evo.
Shout out to Harry Rai. You like favorite match of Shaukat right now. That got him noticed in the States. So yeah, thank you very much for sharing that. But and you'll be making your American debut as soon as this coronavirus is over. But people should know that you're not only a great wrestler, you're also a great coach. And as well, because like you trained the likes of Eamon the Kid, who's killing it in the Australian wrestling scene. Of course, North Phoenix Diana, who just made her debut like not too long ago over at Pro Wrestling Eve also. So I just wanted to ask you, what is your main mindset that you have coming into coaching future Malaysian wrestlers? Like, what's the biggest challenge that you face as a coach?
I think one of the biggest challenges that I face is trying to get my students to understand that it's not about the things you do in the ring. It's about the emotion that you get the audience to feel in a match. Because when everyone starts out wrestling, even myself personally, the first thing that we had in mind was like, I want to do this cool stuff. I want to do this. I want to do that. So like a lot of us, we trap ourselves too much in what to do and how to look cool and so on and so forth, to the point where we forget about what the business really is. And the business is to play with the emotion of the audience. And for me to educate my students this, it's very difficult. But I'm so blessed that guys like Emma the Kid and North Phoenix Diana, like Booker T and Sin Bodhi as well, watch her match. And they said that, you know what, watching your student wrestle pretty much shows that you know your stuff, because when she was wrestling, she had something that even the veterans in Eve didn't have, and that was the emotion, the presence, the storytelling, and so on and so forth. So I think that is the hardest part even until today for me, to help my students understand, like, look guys, stop focusing on looking cool, but focus on telling a story and make the audience fall in love with your characters, so on and so forth. I think like Phoenix and the Kid are great representation and prove that why you should start young, why you should start early, because Phoenix is 20 years old and she's in the Forbes she's in the Forbes list, and the Kid is 19 and he's making waves in Australia as well. I'm known to be one of the best up and coming superstars in Australia. So if you guys watching out here, whether you're in Philippines, whether you're in Malaysia or Singapore, so on and so forth, just if you want to be a pro wrestler, stop thinking like, oh, I got to get in shape first. Oh, I got to build my stamina up. Forget about that. Stop thinking and act. Take action. Join your nearest wrestling school. Train with these super talented guys, and you'll be right on track to become a pro wrestler.
All right. Thank you for sharing that so much. And I just wanted to ask you this. Besides Eamon the Kid or Phoenix, who should people be watching out next from the Malaysian pro wrestling scene?
I think definitely for sure, Sirigala. This guy is a beast, literally as well. If you see him, he's a scary guy. And he has this presence in him. Like if you see him, everyone will just fall in love with him. And I've had guys telling me that he reminds them of Batista, of a young Batista. And I think it's a good thing for him, because like everywhere he goes, he turns heads. Even when he performs, he's a beast. I mean, like he's able to single-hand press guys easily. He's a physical specimen, and I think with a little bit more time and experience, he'd be amazing.
Definitely, and Sarigala definitely made an impression when he came here for PWR, and then he one-handedly like just pressed Marky over, and like definitely he was the one who gave Marky the most punishment that night, and like I can say without a doubt that the Philippine wrestling audience loved Sarigala. All right, so we're winding down a little bit. We're coming down into the last few questions, and of course, I have like a segment where I show you cards and then you tell me what it is. But I just wanted to ask right now. So with the coronavirus pandemic like waning out, and then well, not really waning out, but like you guys are coming out of lockdown soon, and then Malaysia already recognized pro wrestling as a sport. What exactly is next for Malaysia pro wrestling though?
I think definitely big things to come. Malaysia Pro Wrestling is definitely growing in a sense where we'll have more support from the government. We'll be able to pull in more sponsors, and I think the first step is definitely to have my boys to get rid of the ring rust, get back to the ring, train as much as they can, and then put on our first show post pandemic because I think everyone is craving for some wrestling action right now. And I think now is the
Mm.
time for us to do it. And I think we will be doing a lot of shows, and I will also be introducing a lot of new stuff, which I cannot reveal yet. But I'm pretty sure you guys will be excited because, like, when it comes to pro wrestling, I would say I'm a radical. Like, I'm crazy. I like to do things that are very risky because you know
Mm.
what? I took a risk with Malaysia Pro Wrestling, and it paid off. So why not take more risk? So I'll be announcing more amazing stuff. You guys will like it. That's what I have to say right now.
Mm. Game changer and a risk taker, of course, Shaukat. That is what he is. And thank you for sharing that. Now we're going to the next segment where we're winding down a bit. My segment is called Whip Flash. So what happens here is I'm going to whip a card in front of you which has a word on it, and I want
Uh-huh.
you to cut a promo or share a story or like tell a memory about it, like a quick memory. And
All right.
then
Cool.
yeah, are you ready?
Yep. I'm good.
All right, you got this, brother. First word is Booker T.
Ah, legend. I respect him so much. I think for those of you guys to join us, it's a full circle story with Booker T. He was the one who inspired me to start pro wrestling, and he is the guy who's going to give me my first American debut on U.S. national TV. Great guy.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. Next word is, as I am fixing my cards right now, M and the Kid.
He is a ghost pepper. A ghost pepper meaning that he's very tiny in size, but he is on fire, and I think he's
Yeah.
gonna light the world on fire. He's bulking up right now. I mean, he's been hiding his physique and so on and so forth, but it's a secret. He's bulking up right now. He's gonna light the world on fire.
He's definitely gonna light the world on fire. He's been lighting it on fire ever since. Because like I just wanted to share like one of the first few videos that I've seen of Malaysian pro wrestling is him. I think as a 13 or a 14-year-old flying around in the Muay Thai ring. So yes, he definitely has that fire in him to become great. And as you said, like anyway, I'm rambling. We're going to the next word. The next name is Tom Pritchard.
Tom Pritchett is visionary. He is the guy who helped us become the guys that we are today. He's the guy that transformed Malaysia Pro Wrestling from a backyard promotion to a professional promotion. And he is the guy that trained guys like The Rock, Jeff Hardy, H, Lita, so on and so forth. So he is someone that you'd want to learn from. Tom
Mhm.
Pritchett is the man. I promise you that.
Tom Pritchard is indeed the man, and it goes to show that if he's trained guys like those, you receive the same training. Got nowhere to go but up. Next word, Nor Phoenix Diana.
Our Phoenix is one of a kind. She is amazing, unique, and she's a trailblazer and a trendsetter, and she's inspiring. She's inspired a lot of people all around the world. I've seen messages for her saying that she inspired them to take up sports, like a Muslim woman, to take up sports,
Hmm.
even besides pro wrestling, like drag, karate, so on and so forth. She's a trailblazer, and I honestly believe in my heart that she will probably be one of the first Malaysians to be in
Awesome.
WWE.
Thank you for sharing that. Sorry, like my internet is like cutting
No
off.
worries.
But we're heading into the last word. This is last word. Just stay with me right now, IG Live. Just one last word. Here we go. My PW.
My PW is my baby. My PW is my baby. I would say that it's something that changed my life and something that I've never expected to become as successful as it is. In fact, we are growing even bigger. We have a lot of new things to introduce to you guys, and I think that you guys are gonna love us. And I also believe that 2021 will be our year if 2020 don't kill us.
That is true. Hopefully, 2021 will be everyone's year because 2021 is really trying its best to kill everyone right now. So, thank you very much again, Shaukat, for your time. I just have one last question before we let you go, before you go into promoting your stuff. My question is, what is the one lesson that you've learned in your wrestling career that you would like to always pass on to others?
All right, so I think this lesson goes across pro wrestling as well, but it's something that I learned in pro wrestling, and that is in pro wrestling we have to get rid of our egos. I think this is a very very important thing, and ego is the number one stopper of dreams. Ego is the number one stopper of you trying to improve yourself. Because let's say, for example, if someone criticizes you, and you have that ego in you, you're not going to be able to improve. If you have ego in you, you won't be able to receive positive things coming to you because you'll be super defensive. If you have ego, you pretty much be stuck at where you are. So I think as pro wrestlers, everyone knows that if you have ego, you're not going to go anywhere. You have to drop your ego in order to be the best that you can be. So I think this crosses out across even out of pro wrestling. If you have ego, just a little bit of it, it's going to prevent you from achieving greatness. So whatever you do in life, in whatever industry or in whatever things that you have in mind, you must always dissolve your ego. Be open to change. Be open to criticism. Be open to all the positive energy, and evolve, grow, and progress.
All right, that is some great advice. Definitely, thank you so much, Shaukat, for joining us tonight. And please plug whatever social media you want. Like, where can people find you on social media or promote whatever you want before we let you go finally?
I think you guys can follow me on IS Shaukat Fonseca. I usually share my wrestling stuff, my positive quotes and motivational stuff. I share updates on my PW on my socials as well. You guys can follow Malaysia Pro Wrestling, my PW. I think that's about it. And for those of you who are in the region, please support your local wrestling, PWR, MWF, SPW, Gato. Sorry, yeah, I mean, I got set up at Top Dojo, Rebel Max, all of the promotions, support them. And you will see us grow, and you will see these guys on TV one day, most likely.
All right. Thank you so much, Shaukat. Thank you for sharing your time with us tonight. And we hope you have a great weekend. I know you have another interview coming up tomorrow. You have a very busy weekend, brother. And go get some rest. Thank you again so much. And we'll see you again very soon. Take care.
Thank
Wash
you.
your hands
Thank
and
you
stay
so much.
safe, brother. All right. See ya. All right. That was hashtag PWOG Live with the one and only Prophet of Pain, Shaukat, the founder and head trainer of MyPW. I will just have my tag amigo Ken Warren come on so we can end it tonight before we head into tomorrow, where he also has another guest. Ken, what's up, brother? How you doing? How you feeling?
Man, I'm good. I got woken up by his knowledge. Anything that's related to passion, especially for pro wrestling, that wakes me up. And he almost spoke the unspoken rule, and especially in Southeast Asian wrestling scene, wherein like when you do something wrestling related, it's always gonna be compared to the WWE. And
Yeah.
he didn't give a damn about it. He didn't care. What he wanted was that light bulb moment with Booker T. Just you have to start it on your own, and he had to do it.
Mm.
And lo and behold, look at them now. They're recognized by the government finally as an actual sport. And I wish something like that could happen here in the Philippines. But like, man, at least it's possible somewhere in Southeast Asia, right? So that's a good
Yeah,
thing always.
exactly. And
That's a good
then
thing always,
they're
man.
getting the.
Go.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, sorry. So like, and also like the way he said about the ego in pro wrestling, like and especially the part when he said stop trying to look cool. Like I love how he's really into story. I like how serious he is in terms of not just protecting the wrestling business, but respecting the pro wrestling
Yeah.
business and as an art form, as a whole, as a presentation. He knows his role as a pro
Yeah.
wrestler. So that's something that's like like if everyone could just realize that like he
Mm.
can't do flips, then well, he works on his strengths. That's what he does. And he likes
Mm.
storytelling, which is like the main aspect of pro wrestling anyway. So there you go, bro. Like, how about
That's
you?
true. That's true. It was a great talk. It was an amazing talk. I just really wanted to get into the details about what that competitive pro wrestling is. He didn't really like talk a little bit. We gotta keep it mum right now. But yeah, I'm so happy for the Malaysian pro wrestling scene. I'm happy for Shaukat, who will be making his American debut as soon as this coronavirus pandemic is over. He's one of the good guys in Southeast Asian wrestling. He's one of the guys that um, kind of like took what's it called, like took a chance on Philippine wrestlers. He was able to like invite people over like Bombay and Panzer over back in 2015, if I remember it correctly. And yeah, now here we are, and he's doing great for himself. He's doing great for Malaysian pro wrestling, and as he mentioned, like in the lesson that he would pass on to others, dropping the ego, you learn more, and I totally believe in that also. So yeah, Ken, that was a great episode.
Hell yeah, brother.
Why don't Yeah, before we get into John Cena Saturdays, of course we have to talk about your guest tomorrow, who is Bogart the Explorer. I really wish that you try an Australian accent. Please do it for me, Mike. Come on.
Bro, it's not about me. It's about Bogart the Explorer, our OG Filipino
Huh?
YouTuber from down under, from Davao City.
Of course,
And
of
it's
course.
just I'm excited. I'm like reconnecting with an old neighbor, literally, because it's
Mm,
first time actually. Because like again, like what I was able to mention in our guesting last night, I wasn't.
mm.
I was always too starstruck to talk to him, and I'm like,
And
yo, man, it's my opportunity to like to someone
and
that
we'll catch
inspires
that.
me, right? Fight
That's
Sport
true.
Manila, actually. What's up, brothers? And before I
That was
forget, I have to
about
thank Shaukat for the Cajun tip for the chicken breast. I'm not gonna forget that. Some spice. It's a good stuff.
he actually, he actually shared on Instagram earlier, like he mixed it up with some gochujang sauce from the Chinese gochujang sauce. So try it out. Try it. And again, thank you also to all the amigos and amigas watching, like joining us tonight and watching. Fight Sport Manila, shout out to them. Thank you for, we've been having them on for a while, Ken, so we should get into hashtag John Cena Saturdays.
Go, brothers.
So, John Cena tweeted on July 3, 2020, oftentimes, when good things happen, we speculate on when the other shoe will drop. Being prepared is more than okay, but it's also okay to allow joy without condition in your life. So what John Cena is saying, that when good things happen to us, a lot of us think, oh, maybe something bad is happening like sometime soon. But what he's trying to tell you is that that's good. It's good to be prepared, but also we got to enjoy life for what it is. As much as we want to be ready for the bad thing that comes, it's going to take away from from us enjoying the good things that are happening right now. So with with the world in shambles, with the world in disorder right now, I hope that you guys take the good with the bad. Enjoy the good as much as you can, and then be sure to be able to meet the bad as well. And Ken, that is it for hashtag PWG Live. Again, thank you to all the amigos and amigas joining us tonight. Thank you to the Carl, who has been always helping us screen record and save these episodes. And yeah, we will see you guys tomorrow for Bogart the Explorer. Take care and good night. Ken, you got something to say to end it?
Of course, because I forgot the last time. Hashtag that. Good evening.